Hey everybody, my name's Joe.
I am also Joe.
Welcome back to SNES's Life Recap episode number 19. We're so close. So close.
Are
Oh,
we gonna do a 100?
yeah, top
thing?
10.
Yeah,
Yeah,
top 10,
we are.
bottom 10.
That should be fun. So this week we're reviewing Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, Wings 2 Aces High, and then the first three of our Super Scope games, Super Scope 6, Battleclash, and X-Zone. First up, Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. So this was kind of... what did I say? It's like RPG light. So
It's like a child-friendly
yeah,
RPG. It's
my
really
first
easy.
RPG. Yeah. So it's not only super easy for you to kill everything, it really walks you through exactly what you're doing.
It's a
like
very linear game. There's not a whole lot of
choice. It
yeah.
takes away a lot of your agency. That said, the graphics were on par with most Final Fantasy stuff at the time. This music was good. The sound was good. The gameplay was okay. I actually kind of liked the fact that everything was super easy to kill because you made progress very quickly.
Right.
It seemed much faster paced than a regular Final Fantasy game. I gave it a thumbs up.
I believe I also gave it.
You also gave it a thumbs up. Yeah, I just thought it was. Some people hate it, some people love it. We thought it was okay, so hey, Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, good for you. Next up, Wings 2 Aces High. You want to take this one?
I don't really want to.
I don't really want to. So this is a World War I airplane combat game. The graphics were okay.
I think the graphics weren't actually that bad for what it was.
My issue is this. I think the graphics for the biplane on Pilot Wings were better. And Pilot Wings came out way before this.
I agree.
So I think they could have done better, unfortunately. It's just kind of how it fall down. So the graphics were okay. The sound was like there was some music. It was light. Otherwise, it was just the sound of your propeller and your machine guns going constantly. Gameplay.
It was really, really difficult.
It left a lot to be desired. The plane was kind of difficult to control. It was pretty easy to wreck if you weren't paying attention. You could never... I mean, like, there was no radar, and there wasn't radar in World War I.
We don't know where the
Obviously.
edge of the box, the edge of the map is, and if you hit the edge of the map, it stalls your plane, and you just fall.
It was very confusing, and there was no warning about that. We just eventually figured out that's something it does. Man, I cut a bad clip from this. It's just taking forever to let it get the gameplay footage. My bad, y'all. You do have a stock of like 5 dudes that you can play as. And you can level them up all independently on mission to mission. Bombing duty. See, here we go. This is a different view than what your normal fight is. There you're doing a vertical shmup, basically. Except you're not shooting anything. You're trying to avoid getting shot by flak and then drop bombs on targets. This one, kind of the same thing. The control was a little rough. Like, if you veered left or right, it was very, very difficult to get back on target. Now, up and down was fine. But, yeah, in the end, I just thought they could have done better. I mean, it was okay-ish. So I ended up giving this a thumbs down.
I also gave this a thumbs down.
Sorry, Wings 2. You were not our ace, nor were you very high. Next up, though, Super Scope 6. Now, this is the first in the Super Scope games. This is the one that came pre-packaged with it, so obviously the graphics are pretty decent. The sound was pretty decent. I do like the music. Tetris always knocks out music.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, graphics, sound?
I think graphically speaking, I mean, it's kind of hard to mess up with Tetris. It's just squares.
Yeah. Now, this is a little different in terms of blowing up your lines. You could smash the separate blocks. There was a second type of Tetris where you had rotating blocks and you just had to create groups of 3, kind of like
I
the
liked
Jewel.
that version more.
Yeah, this one was way too slow. Just first Blastress. It's just, even on speed high, which is what we're playing on, really, really slow, unfortunately. And then there was an arcade style kind of shooter in this one, which I don't think is in this clip video. That one, the graphics were pretty good too. Sound was okay.
Yeah, the sound was
Gameplay was
actually
okay.
pretty good in that one. I liked the music a lot for that one.
Yeah.
There is the whack-a-mole, which is really easy unless you go
Super high.
through the levels and go high.
Yeah. Oh, look, we actually get to Blasters B in this little clip I pulled. Pardon me. So, yeah, it's fun to play these games. They're good entertainment. I wouldn't give them more than an hour of entertainment. In fact, I'd almost be pushed to say that you get a half hour of good entertainment out of it at a time, because it does get kind of old, because it's Tetris.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you expect out of it?
The weird undulating cube.
Yeah, that was a little confusing, but whatever. So I did give Super Scope 6 a thumbs up, albeit, like I said, I think maybe a half an hour to an hour at max.
Yeah, I also gave it a thumbs up.
Right, you want to do Battleclash here?
Sure. So Battleclash is this. How do I explain? It's like, it's not a shoot 'em up, but it's kind of like a shoot 'em up. You're fighting mechs, you're fighting other people in mechs, and you go through 10 battles.
I don't remember.
Oh, it's a lot of battles. It was a lot of fun, in my opinion. And there is a 2-player mode, which is basically just who scores higher, and you can run through the first 3 or 4 levels.
Yeah, I think it was 4.
And then the 1-player mode, it gives you a little story with it. And before you fight someone, you talk to the enemy, player.
Yeah. Yeah, this is us playing in 2-player mode here, so you're not going to see the story, you'll just see us fighting.
Graphically speaking, I really liked it. I think it was really smooth, and I think the sprites were really good.
Yeah, really big enemy sprites. All the animation was solid and smooth. The colors were good. Everything looked really nice. They did a really good job on presentation. Had some decent music. Had some good sound. Played very well and smooth.
I really enjoyed the gameplay. It was a bit difficult at times, but not overly difficult,
Yeah, no, I mean, we beat the game. It took us just about an hour. So maybe a few minutes less, but...
We didn't beat it on the hardest difficulty.
No, we did beat it on easy. But I think one of the things that we'll notice is usually to play through one of these games to Super Scope, you can do it in about an hour. Which is fair, because how long are you going to hold that stupid thing up to your head?
It's just tedious.
But also that kind of it's enjoyable. You get your fix in an hour and you're like, all right, I feel good. I beat the game.
Well,
and it was
this
a
game
solid
took
game.
even way less than an hour, because
that's true.
We played 2
players, so we bought 6 bosses essentially. Well, there's not really such a thing as a boss. The whole game is bosses, just individual fights.
It's battles.
So anyway, we both did really enjoy the game. So a thumbs up from me.
And a thumbs up from me.
Okay, there you go. Next up and last up is X-Zone.
X-Zone is like it's kind of like Hyperzone.
Yeah.
In the sense of it's a shoot 'em up where the enemies are coming towards your face.
Yeah, very much.
X-Zone was very interesting in the fact that while Battleclash did use the cursor button to switch weapons, the way X-Zone uses the cursor button is as a cursor. So it is significantly more effective to play this game shooting from the hip.
Yeah.
Rather than, holding it up to the side of your head.
I don't know that I would say it's more effective, but it's possible.
I feel like it was significantly more effective.
That's possible. It could be. So the graphics on this one are pretty solid. I don't think they're quite as good as Battleclash, but they're pretty good. Very colorful sprite work. The sound was pretty decent. The music was okay. They didn't... Your guy is holding the Super Scope, which I love. I know that's a childish thing to like, that they put the gun in the game, but come on now. I think really the only thing I didn't like about this one is I just don't think it presented as well as Battleclash. So in Battleclash, you not only had a good chunk of screen that was the enemy and you're shooting your targets, but you kind of had this bottom bar for your health and their health and your power, and it had like a screenshot of your face, and up top you had like score. And here it just has this real generic bottom bar with your shield, which, don't get me wrong, functional, and it doesn't like look bad, but I think they could have made it look better. It just seems like an easily missed opportunity to throw a little bit of extra presentation in there and spice it up just a little bit. But otherwise, yeah, your levels kind of shift back and forth from side-scrolly shooting to top-down shooting, which is weird. Otherwise, it was okay. Your thoughts on the gameplay?
I mean, I guess I was the one that played it. It was actually really easy in my opinion.
Yeah.
It was not difficult at all, and it throws health at you a ton.
Yeah, it did. Now we did again.
We did play it on
easy.
easy, but
and when you play it on hard, that constant health goes away.
you don't get the health, and it starts throwing
lots of bombs.
Lots of bombs.
Not that it isn't throwing lots of bombs now, but it throws more. Yeah, I thought the gameplay was okay. I mean, it's like you said. I mean, it's an arcade shooter. Everything's an arcade shooter. It's the Super Scope. I mean, what do you expect? A gun, but it looked good. Again, defeated in about an hour.
Right.
So again, a quick playthrough. Yeah, I thought it was a fine game. And if you have the opportunity to play it, definitely a thumbs up.
I gave this a thumbs up as well.
Look at that. We slammed through that one super quick. These last, I mean, like I said, everything for the Super Scope is an arcade shooter, sort of. So that's going to describe pretty much all the games to an extent. There's just not a lot to cover there. But, you know, they were all solid games. So there you go. That's our 5 games for week number 19. Week number 20 is what we're getting into. And all of the next week, our recap show 20 is going to be Super Scope games. So we're going to have like Yoshi Safari and Tin Star and Metal Combat and Terminator and Lamborghini. So a bunch of Super Scope stuff coming up. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching the recap and getting our opinions on the games. And then the march to 100 is here. We are merely 5
Almost
games
there.
away, yeah. And very much likely it's just 5 episodes because...
Just a couple more weeks.
Yeah. So that's very exciting. Then, of course, we'll do a top 10, bottom 10 of our first 100 games. I'm curious to see if any of our original 5 from the top 50, top 5, bottom 5, I'm curious to see if any of those change out.
So many games.
I don't think anything's going to dethrone Pit Fighter as worst.
Nope.
Because
immediately looking back on it, there's nothing worse than Pit Fighter.
Yeah.
There is something that I would consider second worst.
Ooh, I'm intrigued.
But
Yeah.
not worse than Pit Fighter.
Yeah, Pit Fighter was pretty terrible. So that's it, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us again. Like I said, recap number 19, done and dusted. Recap 20 coming up. Yes. Have a good night, everybody.
See ya, guys.